The pick is in.
The St. Louis Blues have made their first selection in the 2025 NHL Draft. I'm Rachel Donner, joined now by Haley Simon of Locked On Blues, and the St. Louis Blues selected for Justin Carbonneau with the overall pick. Haley, how are you feeling about this pick overall?
Yeah, I mean, he has a lot of potential, but my main concern is that the Blues drafted a winger when they need help defensively. And I'm not talking about this season, but I'm talking down the line. Now, last year they did select Adam Juracek with their 16th overall pick, and he's going to be fantastic defensively. But I don't see why the Blues selected a winger when they could have easily selected a center. I would have been fine with that. But it seems like we have a lot of wingers right now developing, and I just don't see the need for it. However, he is a very skilled player, so I have to try to be positive.
Right. One of the skills that he brings to the table is his skating, and that
Yep.
kind of helps him create plays. Is that something that has been lacking in the Blues system, or where does he fit on that scale?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And if you look back at, his career in the QMJHL, he had 89 points in 62 games. So clearly he is a vital playmaker, which is something that this team does need. But again, you look at him, you have to compare him. Okay, is he going to equal up to what Jake Neighbors was supposed to be? I know Neighbors is still young, but you have to think that way. You don't need a guy that's going to be in the bottom six. You want a top six player with that kind of potential. So that is where I see him being.
Yeah, one of the other things that he does very well is to create space for himself on the ice, and he can use his speed to do that. I know he's not a center, but that kind of playmaking is center-ish, I would say. And so, like, how do you see that fitting into the Blues game?
I mean, let's be honest. The Blues, they have very talented wingers, right? I mean, I think about Dylan Holloway even. But that's who you need to model your game around. Now, it's funny because Doug Armstrong spoke prior to the draft, Rachel, and he said that the addition of Holloway and Broberg actually speeded up their process by about 3 years. So I understand why maybe he selected a player that's a winger rather than going with a center or a defenseman, because he wants to continue to speed up this process for an Alexander Steen takes over. But I mean, right now, I mean, he has a great shooting percentage. It's actually near 100% on 5, which is fantastic. So as long as he just continues to develop, and developing, it's not about the goals that you make or the assists that you put up. It's about your hockey IQ and how you're able to read the rink when things get a little bit tough and messy out there. So overall, to get back to your initial question, I feel like he's going to fit into the Blue system well. Doug also said that he wanted a player that's morally a good person as well, a good locker room guy. So from the interviews that I saw of him, the Pittsburgh Penguins actually put out a video of him talking prior to the draft, and he seems like he would fit in quite well with the Blues.
All right. Well, for more on Justin Carbonneau and the rest of the St. Louis Blues picks in this year's draft, make sure you're subscribed to Locked On Blues on YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.